Hello, everyone. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. This is Commissioner Elena Sanders, and I'm coming to you today because I'm going to say this is my last video in regards to addressing any candidate, and it's basically only one candidate in regards to fabrication and lies. I was sent this information, and I had people say, Commissioner Sanders, are you going to say something? Because we know these are lies because we get the open records, we get the facts. And I said, is it even worth me even saying anything? Because God knows what's going on. People in this community know what's happening. The only individuals that probably don't know what's happening are the ones who are not paying attention to government, are coming to the meetings and actually seeing or asking me questions. I believe in open records. I tell constituents all the time, go get the open records. Stop just listening to what people telling you. They're telling you this, they're telling you that. And you don't get the open records. You don't get the concrete evidence. And you constantly believing what people are saying and repeating it. And it's wrong. Do your due diligence. Get the facts. Now, let me break this down. And I'm going to say this directly to my opponent, because I can't say opponents because I haven't heard anything from Mr. Smith. And I thank you for that. When I ran in 2020, I can say, Nancy Schultz, I do truly thank you. Now, I will mention certain things that are happening now because I get blamed from some of the things that you approved. And so I have to put the facts out. Like there was a resident who was at the meeting on Tuesday and said that they were told that I was the one that approved all the mass building. And they found out that to be a lie. That happened way before. I've only been in office 3.5 years. That happened way before I came in. It's a process of approving building. It's a process before even developers even move forward to start the building process. So that was false. There's no way that I could approve all this building in District 3 in 3.5 years. There is no possible way. And so I had to come with the facts. So you will hear me speak on issues that I'm constantly being blamed for, and I have to give them the facts. It's not pointing fingers, it's telling the truth. No one wants to be blamed for something they did not do. It's not pointing fingers, it's telling the truth. As a county commissioner, when you have things that are happening like mass building and those things that are occurring, that is a serious issue and people want to know. So I had people that came to the meeting because they were told that Commissioner Sanders approved all this mass building when I have not done that. So I thank those who came to the meeting and saw the facts. But let's get to that meeting. Oh, I didn't finish in regards to Commissioner Saltz and why I said I thank you. In 2020, Commissioner Saltz never threw any shade, never came at me, vice versa. We only spoke on the issues. We spoke on the facts. I came in office. Be honest with you, I didn't never had a relationship with Commissioner Schultz because I had nothing personal against her on why I was running, and I was running because I had nothing personal. I was running because I wanted to see a change in the community. I was running because I saw things that were not there. I had a child who was in the school system, and I was trying to figure out where's our parks and recreation, where these various things. I was going to actually run for Board of Education first because my education background, and then when I did my research on various things, Commissioner was for me, and I also shadowed and spoke to some on the Board of Education and spoke to those on the Board of Commissioners. So I did my research because I had some state reps who were my mentors who basically gave me a guideline of what to do. And so I did that before I decided on where I wanted to run. And commissioner is where I decided to be. I was given packets of information, and that's talking to Commissioner Schultz. I've had some that was on my windshield. I was given packets of information of things about my predecessor. I never used them. Because why? My campaign team said, we're going to run a clean campaign. You're only going to focus on the issues. You're not going to focus on the commissioner. None of my videos, you can go back to 2020, see that I even said anything about Commissioner Schultz, nor the information that was given to me that I could have stated. But I never did that because that's not what I wanted to be known for. In 2024, my team said the same thing. We're not going to do what they're doing because those who pay attention know the fabrication and know the lies. The only ones that don't know what's happening and what's occurring are the ones who are not involved in politics, are not aware of what's happening around them, and they're listening to what people tell them, and they don't do the open records, they don't do the information. It's sad that people are more concerned by my hat, my dress, than the issues. Commissioner Sanders, if you go look at pictures from way back, I've always been a person who cared about how I present myself. I am a daughter of a home economics teacher. Okay. I know she tells me what taught me what to wear in various seasons. So I am a daughter of a home economics teacher. The only reason why I have a turtleneck right now that's almost in April and it's almost Easter is because Georgia's weather is bipolar and I'm a cold nature person. So other than that, I would have not had it on because I was taught the basic fashions on what to wear. Thanks to home economics, which we need to bring back more in all of our schools because it taught me that information on what to do. And I had a mother in the house who was a home economics teacher. So I thank you, Commissioner Schultz, for not doing that in 2020. And I'm going to stick to that in 2024. I will not go back and forth with a woman. I'm a part of many organizations that fight for women. I'm a part of many organizations that support women and uplift women. And they support me. I will not be on this platform going back and forth. This will be my last time addressing issues. So, Ms. Lindsay, if you want to go back and forth and do that, that's okay. If you want to constantly keep sending people to campaign on my platforms and post your flyers and your website, if you feel the need that has to be done, I go ahead and do it. I'm not going to do that. Let's address first. Let me get to here. There was a statement made that I'm traveling on county dime. The same conferences that I go to are the same conferences that Commissioner Mason goes to. And the reason why I mentioned Commissioner Mason, because we're the only two on the board that travels and seek additional education. It is important that your commissioner is educated and not talking out the side of their neck and getting updated on the laws, helping with policies that are created for our counties. We have two associations that our county are members of. That's the Association of County Officials, the ACCG, the Association of County Commissioners of Georgia. There are lobbyists for us on the state level to make sure that that laws are helping us, policies are put in place to help us on the county level. That's where we get our certification from, where you have four of the five commissioners on the board right now are state certified. Okay. And so in order to do that, we have to go continue education, complete our classwork. We are members. We go to these trainings. This was happening before I even came on the board. This is nothing new. The only thing that's new is I share it with you. I'm transparent. I tell you what I learned. I put it in the newspaper and tell you, in a newsletter, and I tell you what I learned. So it's been highlighted more. Commissioners been going to this conference for years. This is not new, everyone. I'm not the only one that goes to this conference. Then we have the National Association of Counties. I am not the only commissioner that go to DC every year to meet with our federal agencies. If I didn't, I would have not learned about ARPA, and a lot of you who received those various items, senior home repair, you receive utility assistance, nonprofit and for-profit assistance. That's because we go to the National Association of Counties, who fought for, on the behalf of counties, that the money come directly to the counties. That $28 million came directly from the counties because NACO fought for us to get it on the front line first versus it going through the state. So this is why you have to do your research. Those are the only two conferences that the county pays for. Commissioner Sanders has been to St. Louis twice. I've been to Pima, Arizona. I've been to Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm trying to get other states. Those were not paid for by Newton County. They were paid for by the National Association of Counties. The National Association of Counties have cohorts where they select 25 commissioners from across the United States to travel to various governments, counties, to learn from those counties who do it right and to bring it back to our government so that we can emulate and the policies they put in place so we can learn to have a better government. Every time I leave Newton County, I share what I've learned with the commissioners. I share policies that I've assisted with creating with the commissioners. I share that with the constituency because I put it in a newsletter. That was not paid by Newton County. You can do an open records. It was also posted in a newspaper if you read the newspaper. It was paid for by the National Association of Counties and Local Progress. I was selected to be a member of Local Progress because I'm a progressive elected official. And what that means is I actually speak up, speak out, not afraid to go against the grain, to fight for what's right and the community. I fight for our underserved community. I fight for those who don't have the voice to speak out. I've been doing this for years. This is nothing new. I've always been known as a change agent in everything that I've done. You can ask those who know me outside of the elected official world. She always goes in and changes the game, and she's going to do it looking good. So if you're concerned about my dress, I thank you because you just confirmed that I am coming to you presentable as a trailblazer. I just received the Trailblazer Award. I am considered a trailblazer. I am the first person of color to win the District 3 seat. I am the first African American female to sit in the seat as a commissioner. I am the sole female on the board of men. And if you talk to many females who are the sole female, black and white, we all talk all the time, the sole female on a board of men, we all have the same stories. Nothing different, nothing more, nothing less. And some of those commissions on those boards with men, the men have come to me at various conferences to talk to me to figure out what's going on. And I said, it's interesting you're coming to me. I'm going to let you know what I go through so I can tell you what she's going through. And they've understood it. We talk and we converse. That's why it's great to go to conferences because you have commissioner friends. You can ask them, hey, what do you do in your county? We're trying to do these various things. I noticed you've done this in your county. How can we do this in Newton County? I see you do this in Henry. I see you do this in Fulton. How can we create those programs? The Youth Commission. Before I even thought of the Youth Commission and bringing it to Newton County, I spoke with commissioners, youth commissioners in Fulton, Henry, the CAB. They gave me all the information. Then I wrote a structuring. They helped me look over it before I presented it to the board to create the Youth Commission in Newton County. That came from my idea because it was a part of my ARPA allocation. I had the most children to ever apply out of all of the districts in Newton County for the Youth Commission. That was my baby. I wanted to provide something for our youth. So to have someone to say that I'm worried about self-promotion, that lets me know that you're more worried about my dress. You're more worried about things that have nothing to do with this county than focusing on the issue. Self-promotion is an honor to receive an award from President Biden. It's an honor to receive awards, a Trailblazer Award. It's an honor. You have commissioners putting their stuff in the newspaper, Commissioner of the Year, various things. Those are great things. But when Commissioner Sanders does it, it's a problem. As I was also told that because I don't say have, because you all come out and you see things on the agenda that affect District 3 and you come out, I'm told that I could hurt you, which is an insult to my neighbors, my constituents, that they say you're not smart enough to think on your own, to come out and speak up about your community. You're taxpayers. We work for you. We represent you. That's fabrication and lies. I don't have a record. I'm not under FBI investigation. I didn't have the FBI come to my office or anywhere, raid my office due to information and evidence they have. I don't have a criminal background. That's by choice. And that's also by I had some wonderful parents who told me, I taught you the right thing. If you go to jail, we're not coming to see you. That scared all of my siblings. I have morals and values. I don't want to be involved in crime. After there was two G's I don't mess with. And that's God and that's the government. The two G's I do not mess with. So I don't have a criminal record. Let's go to the issue with the zoning that was on Tuesday. Not only was it denied by all of the appointments that each board member placed. Now remember, there are 5 people on the board. Commissioner Sanders is 1 vote. It was a 5-0 vote. If those commissioners disagreed with what I was stating or disagreed with that development, they would have not voted unanimously 5-0. Not only that, every board member places someone on the planning commission. They're also called commissioners and they're sworn in as well. That was a 5-0 vote. The planning commission that is made up of residents, citizens of the United States, but residents of Newton County voted 5-0. Let me tell you why. Now, this is the first ever in history where our county attorney, well, I would say the first ever since I've been on the board, sent us an email before a rezoning, zoning issue to try to tell us how we should vote, that they possibly cannot represent us in court. Now, let me tell you something. Newton County has been sued for a statue that Ms. Lindsay said that she coerced, and that was her thing. We have been sued for properties. I have been contacted and called because I'm one of the commissioners here in Newton County with my constituency, help fight box stores. We fought a Dollar General. So I have people from all over because there's articles out on District 3 and the commissioner who fought Dollar General and we did not pass it. Dollar General sued us. The county won. That's why we have a county attorney. Let me break down that zoning. And this is why I ask that you all do your research. It is campaign season. People are going to give you fabrication. They're going to say lies. And you ask them, where is the documentation? Where is the information? Where can I go get the open records? Okay. So I stated when we were voting on the Morgan property and the other property in the same area where the commissioners 3-2 voted for the Morgan property and didn't vote for another property in the same area. And I said on record, this is discriminatory and we're going to get sued. Do you know what I was told from legal and also our chair? It's just another lawsuit. We get sued all the time. But when commissioners vote 5-0, you get a candidate coming on saying, I lied to you all when it's been happening. Where were you? And I'm going to break this down. And like I said, this is my last video. You can rebuttal. It's okay. God has me. Where were you when my predecessor, Commissioner Schultz, that's the only time you're going to see me mention former Commissioner Schultz is when I have to use her because she was in this position for 12 years. So I get blamed. Fingers get pointed at me for things that were done during her leadership. You stated you've been here in the county for 20 plus years, but where were you in the fight when she was approving all of these developments? You used to live in Magnolia Gardens on Fairview Road. You moved to the rural side of District 3. There's nothing wrong with that. You wanted more space and a bigger house. Nothing is wrong with that. But don't forget where you used to live. Where were you when all of this mass building was being built on the west side? I've never heard you come to the board meeting and rebuttal. I've never heard you say, Commissioner Schultz, this is too much building we have in this county. We're packed in here like sardines. Where were you? You brag on you being here for 23 years to my 17. Where were you? You want to take credit for Fairview Community Park. Where were you in 2008 during the recession when Fairview community was fighting against putting the park in their community? Were you on the front line? Were you the progressive constituent helping them fight on the other side of town? Did you come over back to Fairview to help fight these people? A lot of residents in Newton County, and I have to say Newton County, because a lot of residents in Newton County did not know that Fairview Community Park was a county park that they were utilizing their tax dollars to maintain until I came in office. Where were you? That sign been up there for the longest. I did not know that we owned that park until I came in office and started doing research. That sign been there. So you're taking credit for a sign? Where were you when the people were talking about people were dumping washing machines in their in the woods? Where were you when I had the state Parks and Rec come out to say, what do I need to do to make this park better? He came out with myself and the Parks and Rec director. I called him, Mr. Steve Card, and he came out and said I would not bring my wife here because you have too many. I wouldn't bring my wife and kids because you have too many trees where predators can hide. You have this. So guess what we did along with Parks and Rec? We cut down the trees so people can stop dumping. We cut down the trees to make it safe for people to walk in that park. Where were you when we spent $2.1 million on a playground area where only one person can slide down and they hadn't even fixed the grass around it, the fake grass around it? Where were you when I put in a new park in the area so multiple kids can play? Where were you when I put in also the workout center for the adults? Where were you when people were saying in Fairview Community Park that live in the parameter of the park is too dark? I can't even see. I hear noises out there. I hear people, but I can't see because it's too dark. Where were you when I put up those lights around there and our Parks and Rec and Chester, we all worked with snapping shows, and I kept checking on it when it was going to come. And the HOA president, the former HOA president, which I can provide text messages. When is the lights coming? When's the lights coming? And I'm constantly updating her on what's going to happen. But guess what? As soon as we put the lights up, a child in the community who said they were bored, because that came from Parks and Rec, who said they had nothing to do, which is why I've been fighting for various things that you've been trying to stop. Where were you when that child was going around bored, or what programs that you put in place to make sure the children in District 3 had things to do versus they felt like they needed to go around and burst lights, which is taxpayers' dollars? Where were you in that pavilion? Because I frequently was walking the area and I discovered that the benches in the pavilion was peeling off and the metal was peeling. And I almost cut my leg. And I saw some residents was like, oh my God, this thing is peeling and it's sharp. Where were you fighting for that when I told Parks and Rec and took pictures and said, y'all need to change this. Come remove these benches right now before it becomes a liability. And I received a text message from the previous HOA president, Wendy, who said, the benches are gone. I said, yes, they're gone because I told Parks and Rec to move it and replace them. Where were you? But you want to take credit for a sign where you took a video in front of the park, the playground that I put up in the park with Parks and Rec. And I even selected that playground. Thanks to Parks and Rec for sending me and said, Commissioner, we want you to pick what you want in that area, to pick something that's good for the kids. And I made sure it was a big enough playground for the kids. But you want to take credit. Crime don't happen overnight. Crime does not happen overnight. The same children that you represent in the court system, it didn't happen overnight. It don't happen overnight. Where were you? So now you want to take credit. Let's go back to the zoning. Let me break this down. I did this in a meeting. If you go watch on my page, I actually played that zoning on my page. You have Silver Ridge, which is off Jack Neely and Fairview, right? Right next to Silver Ridge is Covington Creek, where Silver Ridge Community and District 3 came out in 2021 because they wanted to build 200 houses behind Silver Ridge. And they came out and shut it down, along with my support because I represent the community. I denied it. And so they were only able to build 75 homes. Okay? So they got smart and they built them across the street, the other 75 across the street from Faircliff. Where were you? Right? Were you fighting with Silver Ridge to say, yes, their water supply is low. They can't rarely get water in their area. Were you fighting with Silver Ridge? No, you were not, but you did sit in the audience. Where were you in that fight? Let's go over to Harold Dobbs, okay? Harold Dobbs, they want to put more homes. They want to put more homes across the street where it floods. Commissioner Sanders and also Commissioner Henderson and Cowan. Cowan even came out and said there's a lot of flooding. We're not going to do all that, right? Where were you in the fight? When we were fighting and say, no, that's too many homes. They're already crowded. We're not going to do that to Silver Ridge and Neely Manor and all of those other subdivisions, Bermuda Run. We're not going to do that to the people. They're already crowded. They're already having congestion issues on Jack Neely, where our kids are getting hit by cars because we have no sidewalks. Where were you in the fight for sidewalks? Did you push or pressure the previous commissioner, say, there's too many houses. I used to live on this side. We need some sidewalks. Where were you in the fight? Where were you? So there's 300 houses coming on Harold Dobbs Road. She didn't say that to you, right? 300 houses. So there's 300 houses on Harold Dobbs. Then there's Silver Ridge in the middle. Then right behind Silver Ridge is Covington Creek, 75 homes. Across from Covington Creek and Silver Ridge, going to be 75 more homes, not including that Faircliff subdivisions right next door. Then you're going down Jack Neely. Now, mind you, there's almost 20 subdivisions on Fairview Road. Going down Jack Neely, you have about 20. No, let me take that back. You have about 12 subdivisions, not including the houses that are on the road of Jack Neely. And you also have the school traffic. Then you also have Clements and Fairview Elementary, which is more traffic. So you're trying to say because a developer is possibly going to sue us because there was no traffic study. There was no sign off on talking or giving us information or even anybody consulting with the school system because the majority of our schools are almost overcrowded or at capacity. There was no discussion with law enforcement. I said that in 2021 when I spoke to law enforcement and I spoke to our sheriff's office. I said, what can I do? He stated, can you please include us in development? Can you please let us know what you're putting up? Because we were not included in all this mass development that now you're expecting us to cover all of this when we don't even have also a fire station. I've watched a house burn down in my subdivision. I watched it burn down to the ground. I'm not gonna lie, I was in tears. I was talking about it online. You can go watch the video. I watched that house burn down to the ground. If fire services was 3 minutes late, 3 minutes, I talked to the fire director. I might have his title wrong. He said, Commissioner, if we were 3 minutes late, all the houses in the block would have burned down. Where were you in that fight? Because you're good friends with my HOA president. Where were you in that fight? Of the residents who were told when they purchased their homes in the back that second entrance was going to be open. They were told that before they closed. That's why there's a fight to open that entrance, because you have 922 units, but one way in and one way out, where fire service was trying to get to that back door and couldn't get through it. So they had to go all the way around to where that house burned down to the ground. The people lost all of their stuff. And the houses next to them, the siding was burned completely off. 3 minutes, he said, if we were that late, 3 more minutes, all the houses on the block would have caught on fire. Where were you? Where were you? Next door in Cameron's Way, I watched another fire go up and blaze. I got a call from a constituent saying, Commissioner Sanders, the house is on fire. I had just came from downtown Atlanta. I drove and got there, and that house was in a blaze. I'm standing out there, nothing I can do but watch, because fire services wasn't there yet. I got there before fire services, and I was coming from downtown. We watched that house burn down to the ground. If you go see it right now, it's just an open space. They just cleared it all out. Where were you? I just had a conversation with the new fire chief speaking on, we're gonna get something over there so we can take care of y'all in that area, because it's too many houses. We don't have enough equipment in that area to take care of it. I even spoke to Chief Lumpkin, who called me and made a suggestion on where to put it. Where were you? Where were you? But you want to get on the social media without facts, without concrete evidence, and state, she travels on the county dime and she goes here, but you had no open records in your hand, because you know a lot of people are not going to do the research. You expecting them to believe everything that you say. So you know they're not going to do the research. But I am going to say this. No weapon formed against me shall prosper, and every tongue that rises up to me shall be condemned. That's biblical. I'm also going to say this: whatever you send for me, I send back to you 100-fold return instantaneously. To God be the glory. I will not get on this Facebook unless it's talking about the issues to go back with the woman. I will not. I fight for women. It took us a while to get in this position. We have been set back, even with the laws that were put in place of laws trying to tell us what to do with our bodies and how we should do it and what we should do by people that are not even the same gender as us. I will not get on this Facebook and do that. But if you want to constantly keep sending the trolls and your people to advertise and promote on my pages, posting your campaign flyers, posting your campaign link, and doing those various things because you feel that's what you have to do, feel free. It's a free country. But I will not. To God be the glory, and God is going to get all of the glory. Thank you, Mr. Smith, for not engaging in foolishness. Now, I don't know if you have. I haven't seen it on Facebook. I will do the same as I did in 2020. I will not engage. I received a stack on you as well. I don't have a criminal record. I'm not on the FBI investigation. Nobody has raided my office to take file cabinets or anything else because I have not done anything illegally. Nothing illegally. Even when it was put out about me doing the grant wrong, that is false. If you know federal grants, I have many federal grant writers in my district that will love to come on to combat that issue. They know that if I did anything wrong or illegal, I will be locked up. They will love to come on and combat that issue. That's called your subject matter experts in that field dealing with federal grants. There is no way they still will be contacting us, asking us how we're going to spend the money if it was done illegally. So these are narratives, everyone, that was put out there for campaign reasons. I'm going to continue to do my job as long as God keeps me here. And when God tells me to move or he has me move, I know he's taking me to higher heights somewhere else. My voice is for the people. I've been doing this before I became a commissioner. I've always been a public servant. I fight for issues. I'm a part of organizations where I have to fight for issues. Sisterhood, scholarship, and service. It was started. You just saw the Shirley Chisholm story, who was a Delta. The first Black woman to run for president of the United States. Shirley Chisholm in the 70s. Watching that video it reminded me that my fight is necessary. So whatever happens in the election, to God be the glory, because I know he has something greater on the other side. I know he has something greater. If he has me stay in this position because it's up to the voters, I know there's something great, and we're going to fight to make sure that these things are placed. I have not said this. When I first came in office in 2021, Ms. Lindsay reached out to me, and she wanted me to meet with her on a certain date. I have those emails. I've never said or put you out there because that's not what I do. I never said anything about that. Have you noticed that? I never showed anybody the email. Never said anything. I never told anybody, which I'm going to say it now, that you send me an email with cuss words in it coming from your law firm. And if I'm lying, do an open records. If I'm lying, do an open records. I have nothing to lie about. I told you I come with receipts. You were upset because I couldn't meet with you when you wanted me to meet you. At that time, I was a traveling fitness presenter internationally. I was in Canada. I was here. I had dates that I had to complete. I don't do it anymore. I used to teach classes, and I was on the fitness presenter side. I used to teach at the LA Fitness and all of them. I was known to teach at all of them years ago. And then I went into the upper part of fitness to where I started presenting and training fitness instructors to where they had to take my courses to get career education credits. And I did that at the various major conferences across the United States and internationally. So I was always on a plane. I was. So going somewhere, getting educated, or teaching a course, or in a classroom of higher education. I've been teaching higher education since 2000. Been doing it since 2000. So this is not something new. I love education. That's why you see me educate the masses. That's why you see me always teaching you how to do open records. That's why I'm so transparent, because I do it with my students and I do it with the people that I teach at conferences. This is what I do. This is my makeup. This is how God made me. God made each and every one of you unique. And don't be afraid and don't be apologetic of who you are. Be unapologetically you. If God made you with a voice to speak up and speak out, that's who you are. If God made you to sit back, that's just you. So don't judge me based on somebody else who was quiet. One thing you all have to remember, if you're on a board and everybody agrees all the time, then you need to look and see what's happening behind the scenes. When nobody's asking questions on agenda items or asking questions or anything, that's when you need to question the board and find out what's going on. And I'm telling you, when you do your open records, you're going to see something differently. Ms. Lindsay, you told me in an email, because you always was in our emails trying to tell us what to do. You told me in an email that if I fought with you against Nelson Heights, now that's a public record, you can go pull it. I can send it to you. That you will fight with me against what's happening with Mr. Charles Berry. It's on an email at Almond Community Center. If I'm lying, go pull the open records. At that time, we had no idea that there was a trust that just came out. But this land this property has been named and been under the county for over 30 years, tax-free. And then now all of a sudden there's a question about my appointment on the tax board. It's owned by somebody, but you had this property under the county for 30 years, tax-free. Where is your voice on that, Miss Lindsay? It is illegal for someone to be tax-free, and they are a business. They are a trust and have not paid taxes for 30 years, and the county's been paying their utilities and maintaining the property and cutting the grass. Where were you? This is not coming out of my mouth. It was a whole article done on it in Covington News just about 3 weeks ago. Where is your voice? Because you told me that you was going to assist with that. That's in the email. Where are you? So as I stated, do open records. Ask me directly. Ask the question. Come to the debate. I don't know if it's debate or forum or whatever, at the Enclave April 6th at 6 p.m. I already know what the narrative's going to be. I'm going to tell you this, and I said this along with the other elected officials, that it's going to turn out to some foolery. I will exit the building. If we're not going to talk about issues and you want to yell, scream, and holler and cause a scene and cause a ruckus and all of this, I'm not going to be a part of that. If I'm on a board voting for my community, oh yeah. But all of that, I'm not going to be a part of that, because God made me different. My parents raised me to know better. Like Michelle Obama said, when they go low, you go high. Although sometimes you want to go low, but you got to take the high road. I'm going to take the high road. I'm going to be the mature one. Take the high road, and I'm not going to go back. So if you're looking for videos or looking for something out of me, sending your people to antagonize, post stuff on all of my social medias, that's okay. They're not going to get a rise out of me. It's not going to happen. I'm only going to speak on the issues. I'm only going to speak on the issues, and that's it. That's why on our community day, which is going to be August 20th, we said no campaigning. And that's what it's all about. It's going to be about the community service, awareness, no campaigning, because I'm pretty sure you guys are tired of all these thousands of signs everywhere, people damaging signs. You're tired of that. It's about community and love, and that's all we're going to do on April 20th. That's what it's going to be about. So that's why I said no campaigning. So Miss Lindsay, from here on out, you can do as many videos as you want. I didn't do it in 2020. I don't feel I need to do it now. The videos that I did in 2020 were about how I can assist the community, how we can get parks and rec. You can go look at it. You can, they right there. You can pull them up. I educated people on what a commissioner was. I went in the community, educated people on voting. That's what I'm going to do. I'm an educator. That's all I'm going to do. But if this is what you want to go low with, feel free. I have no hard feelings against you. We don't even know each other personally. We never had that meeting. I gave you dates on when I could meet. You did not want to meet because you did not want to go with the times and dates that I gave to you. That's when I could meet. I don't know if you thought it was, I don't know what you thought it was, but that was the time I had available in the beginning because I was completing my task, getting into another role. So my apologies to you if you thought it was something else. I don't know. I'm not the one who was on the front line fighting for a warehouse in District 3. You are. I wasn't on the front line where my company was trying to put a Popeyes, I believe, I'm going to go back. It was a Popeye. I believe it was a Popeyes because that was what we were talking about. Behind the homes of people in District 2 that's on the borderline. District 3 even came out as well to fight together with District 2. Westminster Subdivision came out. Those homes that on Salem Road came out and said, no, we don't want it, but that was your property trying to put a commercial or whatever behind these individuals' homes. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to sell my soul. I'm not going to do that. I am here for the people and only the people. You have an amazing day. Those who are listening to the sound of my voice, be blessed. God loves you and I love you too. This is Commissioner Sanders, and I thank you for everything that you've done. I thank you for the opportunity to put me in this place. I do ask for your vote again, but whatever God's decision is, I will accept it because I know every time he moves me from a place, he takes me higher. Don't you understand that every time this board does something to me, that God sends people to see the works that I've done, it takes me to another level. I would have never thought that I would be nominated for a president in my first term, a President Biden Presidential Achievement Award. When I got that call, I broke down in tears because that day it was something that was stated. Someone told some lies, and I said, "Why are people believing this stuff?" And I said, "Oh my God, God, you are a healer. You are a provider and you love me because you constantly keep blessing in me, and favor is not fair. And I'm going to speak up the goodness of God everywhere I go. Because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here. If you knew my story and you knew the things I came from, that's why you still see the smile on my face. Because I can be somewhere buried in the grave right now if you knew my story. But I'm so thankful. I'm thankful for the blessings he's given me. I'm thankful for the amazing child that I have. I'm thankful for the life and the things I've been able to do. All of these things, I give glory to God. So I have to give him glory because he told me who I am. He told me who I am. He told me what's going to happen. I was told by elected officials, Commissioner, your first term, they're going to try to block everything you do because they're trying to make you look a certain way, especially if you have a board and certain people that are trying to be against you in your community. They're going to try to block everything you do because they want to try to see you fail. So the second term, you're going to see the progression. But that first term, that's what they do. And it happened. Because he said in the beginning, in my second meeting, he was going to veto or stop everything that comes in my community. He was going to stop everything that came in my community. Your client, your friend. So thank you all. You have a great day and you shall be blessed.